This is one of those gowns that make you feel good, gives you that big auntie feeling. It's very beautiful, very elegant. You can see the sleeve or the straps that we use for the sleeve part of this gown. Very beautiful. Look at the bag. It is easy to make as well. So if this is something you're interested to learn how to make for yourself, then follow me in this video. So as you can see, this fabric is folded into two already, and then I'm just trying to measure to see how much of it I folded. And then this is 28 inches, so I'm just going to confirm the measurements all around. And then if there's need to adjust, I just make some adjustments to the folds, and that will be that. This is a Duchess fabric, and you can't do this without having to pin them down. It is very slippery, so with the help of pins you'll be able to work well with the fabric. So after pinning them down, the next thing I went ahead to do is to take the length of the gown. So I am using this 51.5 for the length of the gown. That is plus allowance and everything, 51.5. So just confirm the measurement for the second part, and then I'm just gonna roll them. So next I'm going to be determining the shoulder width. So for this shoulder width I'm using 8.5 inches. Afterwards I'm going to be determining the shoulder depth, that is 9 inches. I'm using 9 inches for this one. Then at that 9 inches point I'm also going to still be taking the shoulder width so that I can have a straight line running from the shoulder line down to the armhole length. This is what I mean. Afterwards, I'm going to be marking the half cut or the waistline. So I'm using 17 inches for this waistline. So I'm just going to roll it out as well. So next I'm going to be taking the bust measurement exactly under the armhole length, and then I'm adding allowance afterwards. On the half cut or the waistline, I'm also going to be taking the waist measurement at this point, and then I'll be adding extra allowance as well. So go ahead at this point to connect the points, the bust points to the waistline this way. So from the waistline, I'm going to be stretching my hands outward to the edge of the fabric. I'm going to be showing you what I mean. So sometimes you can just decide to want to use a ruler to just make it easier for you. But the disadvantage of using a ruler is that it's going to make it very flat and without fitting. So to avoid having to have a flat down at the edge, I'm just going to use my hand to make some not so sharp line running from the waistline down to the end of the fabric. I just hope you understand what I'm trying to say. You can see that the lines are not so straight. You can see that it has some curves at some point. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to take our length again, just to confirm our length from the beginning of that line upward, and then we're going to be marking it. So at this point you just want to make sure that there is that round effect at the end of the gown. So we don't want to leave the edge of the gown looking that straight, so we're taking the length from the beginning of the measurements, if you know what I mean, from where you marked your length from. So we're beginning there, and then we are just having to straighten out the overall length of what we're looking for. So this is the 51.5 we're trying to measure, and you can see that it's giving us that curve or that round effect looking more like a flay. So that is what we are aiming at. So after cutting this, you're going to see that there is a beautiful effect that it will have at the end of the cutting, as opposed to just leaving it straight like that. So next I'm just going to take some measurements and then make my armhole curve. So this is all for a part of the front piece. So next I'm just going to go down and take the measurement. First of all, I'm going to be taking the neck width. I'm using 2 inches for the neck width, because if you open 2 inches you have 4 inches, so 4 inches on fold is 2, so I'm using 2. Then the neck depth, I'm going to be using 5 for the neck depth. Next I'm going to be taking the neck depth at the exact length of the neck. I don't know if I'm confusing you, but this neck has 2 depths. The first depth is at the shoulder part, while the other depth is exactly at the point where you marked the depth of the neck. So just look at what I'm doing if I sound confusing at this point. So you just link up the 2 points, one from the shoulder down to the depth of the neck that we are trying to create. So if you feel like your hands cannot do some freehand sketch, you can just use a ruler to get an accurate shape. Then I'm going to come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. Then the shoulder slant. So this is what we've been able to achieve for the front parts. This is how it is. So we're just going to lay it on the back part and just cut the back pattern of it. So after folding our fabric once again, I tried to measure what we have on fold, and then I discovered we have 34 inches. So I'll need you to watch carefully at this point, because for the front part we folded 28 inches. Meanwhile, for this back part we are folding 34 inches. So at one edge of this fold, of this folded fabric, I am marking 6 inches. I am measuring 6 inches and marking it. I will be explaining what this 6 inches is for. So this 6 inches plus the 28 inches for the front part is what gave us 34 inches. You're going to be knowing why we added extra in few minutes, so just watch me. So after measuring my 6 inches, I just marked it from top to bottom. So I'm going to be placing the front part that we just cut out a few minutes ago. I'm going to be laying it. And at this point, this is going to be the zipper allowance, and then it's going to also serve as some extension. So I just lay my front piece on it, just trying to adjust it. And of course, you know that this fabric is a very slippery fabric, so just try to hold it down, and if possible, use pins to hold the back and the front piece together. So I'm going to extend this half cut to the back as well. And then I'm going to be marking my zipper allowance. So you can use 1, you can use 1.5. So just use whatever works for you. So I'm using 1.5. And then I'm just going to connect them together. So for the back neckline, I'm not going to be making it as deep as I made the front neck. Remember, the front neck was 5 inches in depth. So I made the back neck 2 inches in depth. So I'm extending the zipper allowance as well. So I'm just going to make the curve from the front neck, going to meet it at the back neck. So from this half cut that I extended to the back, I'm going to come down by 4 inches. Sometimes it's optional to do this, and other times you just can ignore doing that since it's a flagel. So, but if you would love to do that, you just come down by 4 inches, and then you mark whatever zip allowance you had already marked initially, and then you mark it as well, and then you connect. Then I went in by 1/2 inch for the zip slant so that the zip sits well at the back. Then I'm just having to connect it to the upper part of the half cut. So I just blend it in, and then you can decide to just extend this line from this 4-inch point downward to the end of the fabric, or you can just extend it from this half cut directly So sometimes I prefer to just extend it from the half cut directly. Other times I prefer to just come down by 4 inches and just extend it. After cutting it out, this is what it looks like for the front part of the style. This is the neckline. You can see it very slippery, and then I'm just trying to show you down to what it looks like underneath. So this is for the front, and then this is how the back looks like as well. You can see that it already has shape. And then this is the zipper allowance. This is the neck. It is shallow, and this is the shape of it. This is how it looks. So next I'm just going to join the back and the front together by the shoulders and just pin them down. Then head towards the sewing machine and close that part. Then also I'm going to be laying the second part of the back to the front like this, shoulders to shoulders, and then I'm going to be closing it up. This is the zipper allowance. So after joining the shoulders together, this is what the neck looks like. You can see the shape already. So I'm going to be using a bias. This bias is really not the color of this green Duchess that I'm using. So yeah, whatever you want to use at this point is totally fine. I think at some point in this video, it was the fabric that I cut and I used. So when you come to this sharp edge, you're going to just notch a little so that it allows you freedom to continue stitching. So after closing the neck or after dressing the neck, I'm going to be joining the sides together, the front and a piece of the back, and then I'm going to close the side. I'm going to be doing it for one part of the side, and also I'm going to be doing it for the second side as well. So just hold the two together and just close it, and then head over and do for the second side as well. And afterwards I also went ahead and I added my zipper to it. You can see that I'd already dressed the neck. This is how it looks. I closed the sides as well, and then I also went ahead and I attached zipper to it. I'm sorry I didn't show all of these processes because I was really in a hurry to deliver this dress, so I just had to make it behind the camera, so pardon me for that. So I also cut out a strip, and I'm also going to be using it to clean up the armhole. Once I'm done with the armhole, I'm going to be attaching the straps to the hand. I am going to first of all measure 2.5 inches, holding the both armholes together, meaning the front part and the back part. I'm just going to be holding them together and then marking it. Then this is the strap that I had already made. So I'm first of all going to be cutting. I think I used 8 inches. Yes, I used 8 inches. So I'm going to cut out 8 inches for a start. And then at the point where I marked 2.5 inches, I am going to be pinning it down. So I want you to remember that I would dress the armhole before attaching the straps to them, to the armhole. So I'm going to be joining it to the second side of the armhole. I'll just head over and just pin it. So what I did for these straps that I attached to the armhole is that I increased each of the straps by 3 inches. So the first strap that I cut and I attached is 8 inches. The next strap is 11 inches. So each of them is longer by 3 inches. So you can just do whatever works best for you. If you think 3 inches is small, you can increase it more. If you think it is short, you can reduce it. So whatever works for you, please go ahead and do it. So you can attach as many as you want. You can attach up to 10 strands, you can attach up to 20 strands, 5 strands, 6 strands. It depends on what you want. But for me, I only attached 5 strands of these straps. So I hope you learned a thing or two about how to make this gown that doesn't have a half cut, doesn't require any special skill, doesn't require you to go through pattern drafting, and very easy to make and also very much beginners friendly. So at the end of the day, this is the result of the gown we've been able to recreate. You can see it looking so beautiful, so lovely. This gown just gives you that big lady feeling. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you're yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it will do me a lot of good if you hit that red subscribe button, turn on the bell icon so you are notified every time I upload a new video. And if you would like to have a pattern drafting of how this style can be recreated, if you want to use a pattern drafting, I'll be leaving a link to that effect at the top right side of the screen. Make sure to check it out and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.